Hey, awesomes. How's it going? Welcome to week 14. Apologies for my different background. I had to do some work over on the other side of the house, so I had to move to this side. So, kind of recording on the fly, as they say. So, we're going to continue, right, with Project 3, our inquiry research project. Recall from last week, I did this kind of check-in update video with you. We covered the quoting and conversation templates and kind of help us think about how we might incorporate some of our quotes into our paper. And we looked at a few examples using these samples, which I've continued. I'm just going to kind of continue to kind of repost these things here if it's all in one spot. So I have to go back to another week. And then we also talked about the attention getters last week. And I've got a couple of resources here for you. And of course, the video itself. And then, of course, right now we're recording kind of a overview video we're going to I'm going to start talking to you right now about the body of your paper. And maybe perhaps you're already in the throes of writing that, but I did just kind of want to make this that the body kind of has three main sections. The research process is literally kind of think about that as like a narrative of what you did to research, and literally you can answer these kind of questions, kind of put it into like a paragraph format. So here is one of our inquiry research projects samples. And you notice she starts out here. I found most of my scholarly sources on Google Scholar. Google Scholar had a lot of options, which helped me find very useful, incredible sources. My popular sources were found using Google. And then notice she goes down here and she goes, the only challenge I faced while researching was the fact that there were so many resources, right? So it's difficult to kind of maybe narrow them down while researching this topic here. It was very clear the scientists were the ones researching the topic. I found that architects and designers are becoming more aware of the rising climate change. So she's speaking to some of the challenges that she faced. And I like how in our other sample here, down here, starting right here, it says, although I was able to find these sources pretty well, I should have tried to find some more sources that were not as lengthy from Google search first. Originally, I went directly to Google Scholar to begin my research, but I should have started on a normal search to find short articles that could lead me to a faster search. I had to find sources more biased to one side of nature or nurture and connect them using the small references they made to each other. So there's this kind of reflective moment, if you will, where they, where the student kind of reflecting back on here's what I would have done a little bit differently, right? I probably could have found these articles and found the information I needed had I maybe done a Google search first before a Google Scholar or whatever. And in some cases that's reversed. And in the you'll notice in this one here, it was a situation where we had so many, and then found out that there are scientists are writing about it, and then also architects, and kind of finding this middle ground, if you will. And you'll notice that both of these then just kind of, once you're done with that body section, you go right into talking about, okay, I'm going to at least try to cover three of our scholarly sources, right? So we've got, starting with our first scholarly source, explaining that scholarly source. Notice that there's quoting, which we reviewed last week, quoting and even using some of the templates to kind of incorporate them into, and then just kind of go down through those as it's kind of stated right here on our assignment description, right? Explaining what researchers have found, right? Refer to the findings of at least three research studies. Respond to each finding. How do these findings compare and contrast to your personal experience? Remember that the one student said, hey, I was able to see where they're talking kind of back and forth, right? I was able to, through this Google search and maybe the Google Scholar search, find where I was able to locate within the articles where they're kind of talking back and forth kind of to each other. There's kind of this conversation taking place about the topic. And how did the findings compare or contrast to each other, right, in the research information? And then you can wrap up kind of this section, the body section, after you've kind of had, several paragraphs discussing your results that you found. What research questions related to your topic should researchers focus their attention on in the future? In other words, are there any gaps